Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents with me, your host Valerie, and sometime co-host Miss Purrington. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. We bring you articles and podcasts featuring the best in Austin comedy in all its shapes and formats. Launched in 2016, the podcast project brings you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. Today I sit down with somebody who I first saw perform at a Valve open mic. And it was the first time I had seen him, but apparently the entire back wall was already in love with him. And I remember that set being really, really funny, and it's not often that I remember somebody's first set when I first see them. So kudos on that. He is co-host of the Love Goat open mic on Saturday nights, which I affectionately describe as one of the best, worst open mics in town. And I'm starting to see him hit this really cool stride where he's starting to get booked more and more on showcases. And if anybody wants to fight me on this, I'm willing to, but I think he's one of the nicest guys in the scene. And now Comedy Wham presents our guest, Sam Castillo.
Hey, Valerie, thanks for having me. Thanks. What an intro. I'm blushing over here. Yeah, that is the great way to describe Love Goat it's us and Wednesday night tramps. We're holding it down for the Skid Row of open mics. You gotta have people who are truly trying. What's great about Love Goat, it's proximity to UT, because you just get so many vagrants and so many students. So every semester there's a theater major who's like, how hard could it be?
Right.
They bring 15 of their friends. They all film the set, and then right after them, this guy will go up there and incoherently do word salad. It's just words that don't form sentences, and he just ends up killing so much better, and and he smells. It's
And unlike what you would expect of a host and your co-host of, a gruffer open mic, you and Andrew are like some of the nicest guys.
Oh, we're softies.
So you're total softies.
Yeah.
You don't stand up to any of the hecklers. You're just like, it's all part of the process.
It is. This is such a town that is so supportive. You go to rooms and it's like, so we're all about just being as unsupportive as possible. We're just kicking you while you're down is really what.
I think that's why I like it, because I know I'm not going to get any, unwarranted praise. I'm not going to get any praise, first of all. Yeah.
You might not even get praise when you deserve it. That's the bad part. That's actually the crux on that room. It is. Which I gotta say, we're on the farewell tour. Wagner and I are.
Oh, are you?
It'll be in March. It'll be 2 years of hosting that thing, and we're gonna give it over to Eric Scholl.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever met him.
I don't think I have.
He's pretty new. He works hard. Tall guy, man bun. That doesn't help you at all visualize.
Now I know who he is.
He looks like the entire staff at Hotel Vegas is how I would describe him.
And is he nice?
He is nice. That's why we picked him. It's never going to be someone who sticks up for themselves. Yeah. No. It'll always be a doormat of a person. That's who's going to have to host this thing.
Oh, man. I'll never have a shot. Oh my gosh. It's so great to kind of talk shop about that open mic, because it's not, all the comics go there, but
it's
a lot of
detention.
open mics, there's no real audience there. So it's like a cult, being a member of a cult. And it is kind of nice to be able to say, that.
Well, or sometimes you do get an audience and it's just people whose hands are shaking as they get their drink, or it's frat and sorority girls, guys and girls who are passing through. So it's like, how do I even tell the joke and get these people to listen? I don't even need them to laugh. I just want to see if they'll even respond. It's more of like, how good am I at just being a presence because you can't even move on the stage. There's so
Right.
many instruments.
Yeah.
We are just
It's
not
the worst.
It
That's-
is the worst, and the stage is right by the door, and so they don't turn on the AC when it's nice, so the door's propped open. So it was just ambulances
Yep.
because some kid's got to get his stomach pumped in West Campus, or that's.
Or one time I remember the nude cyclists.
I look forward to it every spring. Rot Rally, Riders of Texas. It's a big rally here in Austin, listeners, and so there's always in defiance of the motorcyclers, there is the nude bicyclists, and they go through a cavalcade of like as many, and it's just pubes and fog from their bodies that waft into the room, and the door's wide open, and it's always.
No.
It's always someone who's like very meek on stage to begin with, and then they go, "Oh God."
So mark your calendars if you want to go to one of the best open mic shows, the Rot Rally Saturday night.
Yeah. If you tell me you came from this pod, we'll get you a drink.
Yeah.
Okay. How about that?
Yeah,
we'll get
right.
you some medicine, and we'll.
Oh my gosh, Sam, I've let this go way too long because I have a formal icebreaker question.
Let's
Are you
go.
ready? One word to describe your past.
Jeez. One word to describe the past would be. I can only think of phrases. What it would. I don't know. It would probably be longing. I'm someone who's never happy. Well, I think I'm a happy person, but I'm always trying to do more. I'm always trying to do more.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about what I want to do next, and because I hate I hate reminiscing. That's scary to me.
Okay.
I don't like reminiscing
Yeah.
because it's like upsetting. Because then you're like, oh, I'm living in the past.
Yeah.
But and you take a second to enjoy the moment, and then but it's for so long I've always just wanted to, you just long for things.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do people normally
heavy.
say? What do people normally say?
I don't know, troubled.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Fun, normal. It's been
Normal.
all- yeah,
Who said normal?
I wish I knew that I need to know that off the top of my head, but I have had one normal.
Let me guess.
I could look it up.
Troubled. Let me guess all of the troubles. Okay, let's see, because I know you've had Herner Duncan on that, and behind those steely blue eyes, there is just a man in prison.
We're gonna dish right here.
Let's
right
get the goss. Let's get the goss.
Let's see. It might take a while, but no, I've got my list right
Normal would. I can't even imagine. It's probably someone who I think is the least normal, and I say that affectionately. It's probably someone who's like Eric J. Nagurny. Has he been on the pod?
He has not.
Oh, okay.
He's not.
Because he's
Yeah,
such a goofball, and he's like, yeah, I'm pretty normal.
here. Okay. Gosh. That was an out of towner, so I'm not gonna count them. And I wasn't the one that did the interview. Okay, here we go. Oh, well, all right. This was a Moon Tower guest.
Uh-huh.
You'll never guess it.
Annie Lederman.
No. Who?
Annie Lederman?
I didn't interview.
Oh, I don't know. I was just guessing because
No.
she did several nights at the Velveeta Room. So that's just, so.
No, Rojo Perez.
Oh, I know
He's
the
a-
guy.
he's a
I
New
don't
York
know
guy.
him. I met him.
Yeah.
He
was normal. His past
That was his
normal.
word. Was normal.
That was his word. Yeah.
Longing, conventional. I think those were good words to describe my
I think
past.
they're good. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Let's. I mean, this is all in good fun, right?
Yeah.
Hunters was planned.
Planned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, back to
Hey.
you. So I noticed when you called me, and we've talked about this before, you grew up in Dallas, in the Dallas area. Is that right? Or
Yeah.
did you
Yeah, I grew
like
up.
Elvis?
I loved it. It was a
Yeah.
great place to grow up. My brother moved back there a few years ago. He's loving it. Lower Greenville, the M Streets, YSMU, and White Rock Lake for people who have Google. Who doesn't? Are you a Binger? Do you use Bing? I don't know, but type that into the ways. They'll get you. It was a nice place. It was like, cause my dad's from rural Southwest Texas.
Okay.
My mom is from rural Iowa.
Ooh.
And so they were like, let's have kids in the city, the actual city.
Wow.
And so they went, not Dallas, Fort Worth, not Plano, not Arlington, not Allen. They were like, let's do Dallas.
Wow.
So 10 minutes from downtown, Dallas address.
Wow.
It was fun.
That's
I liked
bold.
it. It was because
the whole story about the whole Dallas Fort Worth is it's just sprawl and suburbs.
It's the twins. It's the second. It's like Twin Cities, because it's these two cities that make a bigger one.
Yeah.
And it's just So
that
was fun. Because people say I'm from Dallas, I'm like, they say Frisco or Rockwall, and they're like, "What about you?" And I name the neighborhood, and they're like, "Oh, you mean the actual city?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was nice living in the actual city, Dallas ISD schools, the whole 9 yards." Yeah.
Do you have any memories of a comedic nature growing up?
I mean, the earliest influences was when my dad found out he was going to have kids. He started recording. He got a VHS player, and then, or even before he knew he had kids, he bought a VHS player and started recording all of the Merry Melodies cartoons, the 40s and 50s Warner Brothers.
Okay.
So the Bugs Bunny, all that stuff, and and then he would record the monologues for Carson, and then just like SNL. And so he had these cassettes. His name's Al, so it was the Al's Volumes. He had Al's Volumes in a Roman numeral. So when we were kids, he would just pop these VHSs and we would just watch old cartoons. And so just the music and the eyeballs coming out of their heads and it was the best. And then the only other thing would be like, I always wanted to watch Letterman and I couldn't. And then, Prairie Home Companion. That was a big source of comedy in the house.
Now, could you not watch Letterman because it was so late or because of the content?
Both.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Why the content? Like too religious background situation or just?
It's just not for kids.
Really?
It wasn't for kids. And eventually they started loosening up. If we were on vacation, we could watch it. Because he had the best. He had like the best gags. It was Will It Float?
Yeah.
They would have a theme song, and they would play, like, Paul and the band would play this pump up music. They'd sing Will It Float, and they've got the Will It Float girls. This girl's wearing like all metal, and she's got a sand belter, so sparks are flying off of her. They've got like a live animal, and a handler, and it's just so that that this model will drop something into a pool of water, and they're like, Alan Coulter will be like, today we're going to see if a cheese wheel will float. And then, so all this pageantry, drum roll, they drop the cheese log, speculating, will it float? It doesn't float. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's the best.
Okay. Did you went to UT?
I did.
And actually, let me go backwards. Did you do any performance when you were in school?
Yeah, I tried to get into art school. There's a big academy in Dallas called the Booker T. Washington Fine Arts School.
Okay.
It's like super competitive regional high school. Didn't get in twice because I wanted to be a painter. So then, and the the fine arts in my high school, just terrible. The teachers were just lousy. They did not try. And so I was like, well, if I can't paint or do pastels or sculpt, I'll just do something else. So I started acting. I did the one-act plays, the fall plays. I did a musical. I was in the ensemble because I don't stick out, but I did a semester of show choir too.
Okay.
Because I wanted to. I can sing. I cannot dance.
I like how your voice just broke as you said, I can sing.
Yeah, right.
No, but hearing you through the headphones, I can hear like that deep, I'm horrible at describing what musical things are, but like a bass, do you have like a bass?
It would be the baritone bass.
There you go. That's the word.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah. I'm too high to be a bass, but I could be, I'm somewhere between baritone and tenor would be my, I can go wherever they need me on a song for those.
That's cool.
Yeah. Can't do soprano, can't do bass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soprano, is that like super high pitch thing?
They are.
Okay.
That's those are the highest pitches.
Okay.
Even Puberty Sam couldn't hit that. Yeah. Which, that was the most hormonal thing in the world, was show choir. God, because the teacher was going through this just ugly divorce.
Oh, no.
And he had been transferred by the district from the Booker T. Washington Fine Arts School, so he's used to like discipline. Mm-hmm. And Woodrow Wilson High School is where I went to. Woodrow, East LA, represent, just not a structured school at all. And so the kids are just like, it was just, let's get high and just sit around.
Yeah.
And because my high school has the longest running high school musical in the country. And they produce like, kids go to college to be show choir scholarship people. So there's like 2 show choirs. They were the variations, which is for the kids who were actually good at choir. And then there is, I think, this is not lying. The other one was called the Expectations. And our song was Expect the Best from the Expectations.
Oh boy.
But we never ever tried because the variations were the better ones. They were the varsity, we were the JV, and because I just didn't know anyone, I got stuck in the JV, and I just burned out as well. But it was just so much hormones. These kids are, we're all going through acne and stuff, and
yeah.
voices are changing.
Right.
One day a girl is a soprano, next she's a tenor. It's heartbreak.
Did you give up completely on the painting?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's just I had a friend's dad is a professional painter, but they lived out in the suburbs, and it was just too much work for my parents to drive me out there to get lessons in addition to school. And then I picked up, the show choir and the acting. It was just too much work to do it. So I just quit on that and then started doing live performances.
Yeah. And what did you go to UT for?
I started out undeclared, and I eventually became geography.
Okay.
And I got a certificate in business, which is more than a minor, less than a major.
Okay.
The geography thing, basically it's called GIS, which is like Geographic Information Systems. It's like city planning. Mm-hmm. Oil and gas people will hire geographers to map out plots. Like land developers, if they're trying to build a big sprawl thing, they'll hire them to do like impact on environment and stuff.
I'm nodding knowingly because, believe it or not, you are my second GIS major.
Who else?
Jacob Erdman out of the Fort Collins comedy scene. Who
came
in through altercation.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Hey. Now, is he actually using it though?
I believe he is.
I am not.
Okay.
I am not using that degree at all.
Well, in that case, you're probably also very normal because how many people actually use their college degrees in the,
That's true.
Working
you're a mathematician.
I do.
You do.
Yeah,
you're a
I
mathematician.
Do. Yeah, because I'm a mathematician.
Right.
So.
The most applicable degree in the world.
Right. Even though, there's the trope that, I'm never going to use math.
Which I don't understand that even exists.
Just makes me so mad.
That is something that I remember someone saying in school. They're like, I'm never going to use this stuff. And I'm like, oh, we will. I just still won't know how to use it then. I was so bad at math.
So when you were in college, did you keep up with any of this performance and acting?
No, I got really into the Greek life scene and it's really big at UT.
Yeah.
And I went all in. I started doing getting the jobs as like the rush captain and the rush chair. So you spend your summers boozing and getting people to join and all this stuff. And you learn like how to be a sleazebag salesman during the whole time and a party planner. You throw all this stuff in different cities. It was so much work and fun and I also just probably shouldn't. I tried to drop out of college twice. I really did. I really realized I don't think I want to do this. I'm like I graduated with like a 2.
Oh God, Sam, you don't want this on there, dude.
I don't care. Here's the deal. It's on paper. So I think people can look that up. So let's just, so I did not do well. And I tried so hard. I took such hard classes. I had geography. You have to take 2 languages. I took Spanish and Arabic.
Oh, wow.
And, so I just was like skidding by. There was no time to do open mics. I almost became a theater major because when I was a sophomore, I took like 2 theater classes with the department and the teacher had me audition, and they're like, you can transfer into the fine art school and do the theater and dance program. You can get in, even though your grades are so bad, because you're pretty good at this.
Yeah.
And I ran it by my parents, and my dad was like, I was a theater major, and I dropped out of college.
Oh.
And so they were like, do something, please. We've given you everything in your entire life. Just do this for us. Get a degree in something. So they did get me everything in my life. So I was like, screw it. Let's rack up some debt, get a degree, get the paper. Yeah. So, and it's for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned open mics. Did you do your first open mic or off-campus related performance while you were in college?
Yeah, I started in college.
How did that happen? Why did it happen?
I just knew I wanted to start doing comedy. Even my because I was so into stand-up in high school, but I couldn't do any of the open mics in Dallas because the only ones that I was aware of was the Arlington Improv, Addison Improv. I didn't have a card in my senior year, so I couldn't get out there. And then Dallas Hyenas had it, but you just couldn't. It was just that thing runs for 4 hours.
I've been to that one.
And now they know me, and they're nice, and they let me go up pretty early now whenever I say hello because they remember me. But then I remember signing up once, and I just didn't get on, and I was like, I could actually go to school tomorrow. So I just crossed my name off the list. And then I remember my freshman year in college, I signed up for the Cap City open mic a few times, got the rejection emails. I remember one time I got the rejection email on my phone. I go, it's all right. And I just walked to the Love Goat, because that's where freshmen used to drink, and proceeded to booze. And then eventually...
How crazy is that?
I know. And then a few friends who eventually were like, you got to do this. Come on. All right. And so I finally did Cold Town. That was the first open mic that I could find. Besides Velve and Cap City, I couldn't get on either one of those, so I just threw the email out to Cold Town, no idea what it was, got on, showed up. I think I went to the bathroom 20 times. There was just not a single ounce of fluid in my body. I was so nervous. And then that was it. That was summer 2016. Okay. Still in school. And yeah. I just started doing it every night, all in. After that, I was like, this is... Because I knew I didn't want to half-ass it, because I know if you start and then you become shaky, people don't really care that school is getting in the way. They want... You gotta work. You gotta work at it. So I knew, I was like, well, I don't want to start when I'm taking Arabic and Spanish in the same semester. There's no way I can do this right. And so I waited till towards the end, the last few semesters of school, the course loads were lighter, so I just went all in on the last 3 semesters of college. Okay.
I want to explore a couple of things that you said. So you mentioned that in high school you were big into some stand-up comedy, and then you mentioned that your friends were encouraging you to give it a shot. So had you already seen something in yourself that made sense? Like, did you recognize that you were funny, or was it one of those situations where your friends were like, dude, you're super funny, you should do this?
Oh, no. The high school friends were not the ones encouraging me. It was the college friends.
Right, but in high school, you were already a fan of stand-up.
Because I was nothing in high school. Most people, I think, in high school, people think like, oh, I was I was a nerd, or I was, a popular kid. I was a forgotten kid. And most people are too. Most people really, when they look back, they think that they were a victim. I was a nerd, or they think they were more popular than they were. Yeah. Some people were those things, but most of us were just another number going through the school. And that's what I was. I was just another guy. I had a few friends, and I just kind of like waltzed through school. And eventually I was like, I just watched so much stand up. Because I didn't have cable until my freshman year of high school. And so for years of just lying about knowing about what South Park was. I just started watching Comedy Central. Then I started watching all the specials, started writing jokes, and without telling anyone. I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want anyone to come. So I just went to the Hyenas on my own.
Well, okay. While you were in high school?
Once. And then it didn't work out. So that was super discouraging. So I just waited till college to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because that's the connection that I'm trying to make, is you've been watching the stand-ups, so you've
been wanting to do it deep down forever.
Right. And you know exactly, you're seeing like, pinnacle level stand-up. Whatever you're watching, it's like, somebody's put in all that hard work,
Oh
and
my
so
God.
you know what it is.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I want to do that.
I remember watching on Comedy Central. Now, this is not something people even do anymore. Watching the premieres of specials. Mm-hmm. I remember watching, it was Finest Hour. That was the 2011 Patton Oswalt special. Okay. I remember that one debuting on a Sunday on Comedy Central.
Wow.
And then that same year, Happy Thoughts with Daniel Tosh. And those two I latched onto. I was like, those were my favorite hours in high school.
Yeah. So the reflection that you're seeing in my brain is when I think about those two comics, they have a sweet irreverence to them.
Oh, they're dark people.
They are, but like everybody knows that Patton is he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He can, take you down many, many pegs, but he's at heart, he's really a nice guy.
Yeah.
And Tosh, he makes it seem like he's an asshole, but I think he's also...
It's a persona.
Yeah.
I was really gravitated towards the fact that he was the most successful comic with like him and Gaffigan were at the time, and like I guess the early 10s, were the people with the most successful personas.
Yeah.
A lot of people, everyone does have a stage persona, but like it was conversational comedy was the thing then. Mm-hmm. You had Louis doing these conversational hours. I mean, the only other personas that were very clear was like Lisa Lampanelli, like being just, I'm dirty. That was like, I'm dirty. I'm dirty. Yeah. That was like, like that's clearly she's not that dirty, and otherwise it was Tosh being like, I'm this offensive, or it was Gaffigan being, I'm this clean, deep. These people aren't those things, but they're these really forward versions. Yeah. So that was really cool. Yeah. I latched on to personas, and I've been trying to build one. You should perform.
So, okay, you said it didn't go well, that very first one.
Yeah.
Tell me what.
I just didn't get on.
You didn't get,
and so that was so discouraging that I waited years.
You had written out material. Ready to go. How disappointing.
I know. So then I just waited till college. That one went okay. But
was that one of those things where like, okay, I'm just waiting my time? Like, did you know Austin had a comedy scene?
Yeah, I just knew I just Googled Austin comedy clubs, Austin comedy open mics, and Cap City and Velveeta Room popped up when I was a freshman and didn't get on those. So I just pushed it all the way to the back burner. And then I guess it was the summer going in, like the spring, I guess that's junior year, the end of junior year, because it was the last 3 semesters of college is when I started it. That's when I started.
Yeah, I remember first talking to you and you're like, you're still in college. I'm like, oh my God, you're so young.
Well, there was a ton of people in college when I started. Yeah. Allison, Hope, Danny, Clarkston, all those people were in school.
Yeah.
I would see them on campus and I'd be like, I don't know you still.
How was it performing on a stage as an open mic versus what you had been experiencing in high school, where it's theatrical, it's musical, it's big deal? How did that like feel for you in comparison?
It was so much more crushing because you can see the eyes of the people. You go from like a theater where it's dark and you can just see the spotlights, right?
Yeah.
If you miss your mark, whatever. Yeah. But you're at the Cherrywood Coffee. Sorry, my eyes are watering, and it's because of the cat. Yeah. But that's okay. We're playing through the pain here. So, Cherrywood, you can just see the disappointment of the staff mopping up the place. Because that Cherrywood used to be even longer than it was now. That list was minimum 40 people.
Oh God.
Every week, and I would go up 41st. And they were literally mopping up and turning the lights off. I'm telling the jokes to some server who was getting paid $2.13 an hour plus tip, and they made no money on the comics off tips. So they do not want to hear this. And I used to just do impressions because I couldn't write jokes. Yeah. That's what I used to do. I couldn't write a joke. So because I tried for like 2 days trying to be like Patton. But I'm too dumb. Patton uses like beautiful words. You listen to like Feeling Kind of Patton, and you can tell this guy was an English major in college. He went to an elite liberal arts college, and he writes and tells jokes like he does. He's a smart person, and I'm just dumb. You know, I got like a 2 point something, you know, and so it would just be someone like, you know, right? And so I was like, not 48 hours of this no, we're doing impressions now. We're doing.
But you had written jokes when you were going to go up to Hyenas.
Yeah.
Why'd you?
Oh, well, those were so dated by that point. Yeah. Those were like about being a high schooler. So if I was 21 or 22 doing high schooler material, that wouldn't work. So. Yeah.
I hope you're going to make it to the end of
this. Oh, we'll
area.
be fine. I'm fine. The cat hairs, it's all good. It's a cute cat.
She has redeeming values. I vacuumed like fairly recently too.
I can tell.
Okay. All right. So, when did you figure out that impressions were not the way to get past the soul crushing feeling of the open mics?
When Joe Carlisle said, "No one knows what you're doing," he's like, "No one's gonna get this," because my anchor impressions I used to do, which this is so dated. I used to do dirty Garrison Keillor.
Oh my God.
Because he was such a clean guy then. And then he got me too'd.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, isn't that crazy, right? So maybe, so I used to do dirty Garrison Keillor. And I used to do problematic Don Knotts, right? Whoa! They just said that. And he's like, no one gets this. Stop this. Write a joke, please. So.
And how did you feel trying on the joke writing?
Oh God, it was terrible because I just started doing one-liners and I could only write offensive ones, and I'm not an offensive guy. Yeah. Because I just the biggest one-liner by that point, that was 2016, was Jeselnik. He was the biggest one-liner guy at the time.
Yeah.
And so he just had that Netflix hour come out. He had this Comedy Central show. He had been doing all the roasts. He was the one-liner dude at that time. So I started just trying to write the one-liners, and they were just too offensive. And I just remember my first FPIA, the owner of CAP came up to me and she was like, "Hi, I'd like to introduce myself." I bombed hard, by the way. And I go out to the lobby. I don't want to see anyone. And, she goes, "I liked what you did up there. I just hated everything you said."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Thank you. Nice to meet you as well." And she goes, "So come back next year and just rework it." And then I was just like, okay. I'm like, by this point, I'm like, I am so embarrassed. I turn around. The other club manager, Mario, for the different club, is like, "She's not wrong." And he's like, "But to be fair, people aren't going to understand what a Mobius strip is." And I was like, okay, yeah, people don't know what because it was not just offensive. It was weird because I didn't know. I thought that if any topic was said, it was burned forever. So I had to think of a new topic. And then I started watching more and more live comedy. I started going to both clubs every weekend for free. And I just realized, no, you can still talk about dating. It's a never ending subject.
So were you trying to reach for these?
Just something that wasn't hack or done. I was afraid of being done. You think you're just afraid of copying anyone at that point, or just being, in reality, no one is watching you. But when you're so new, you think that everyone's watching you, so you just don't want to step on someone else's material. Yeah. So the best way to do it is to write about math theory and I was taking an intro to math theory.
That's why you struck a nerve with me when I first saw you at a Valve open mic, because you were talking about my jam.
Yeah, pretty much. I was talking about school shooters and Mobius strips. Okay, that was so then I just was like, this isn't me. I'm dumb and I'm not an offensive guy. So then I just started eventually writing more one-liners, and I realized you don't have to do the one-liners. You can form out a joke and flesh it out. You build a persona. It's not even what you talk about. It's how you talk about it. And I do want to go back and actually start saying things that matter. But for the longest time, I was just trying to build a stage presence.
Yeah. How are you doing?
So now update. So first the eyes were watering. Now the nose is filled.
Okay, we've got maybe up to 30 more minutes.
Let's power through.
Or 20 or 25.
You got Visine?
I don't.
Oh,
but I have
okay.
all sorts of allergy medication.
We'll do it afterwards.
Okay. I really ought to put a disclaimer up front. It doesn't happen
It's all
hardly
good.
ever.
It's all good.
Okay. This makes me...
I'm being destroyed by a creature that is 1 foot tall and
Right.
weighs 12 pounds at most.
Well, this is why people get so freaked out by, insects, is there's just some, well, whatever. Okay. So when do you think, to me, it's a really big deal that the manager of Cap City approached you, because I think
And I've never met her since. That was what's weird about it. I've never met her since.
But she wouldn't have gone to the trouble if she didn't see something in you. No,
Yeah, she was being nice.
But,
and it doesn't matter because I kept going.
Right. And you kept putting in the work.
Yeah. I'm trying over here,
yeah. Well, yeah.
Hey.
When did you figure out, I know you've talked about figuring out that you don't have to do these obscure topics. You don't have to be offensive. When did you figure out on stage that being dumb you was a better formula?
I always knew that. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't write for myself yet. And I'm still copying other people. And open mics, the quicker you realize that it's okay to copy your heroes, it's so much easier. Because the jokes are yours. The content, the lines, the words, it's your joke.
Yeah.
But you're just stealing someone else's delivery. You're stealing someone else's, the way they move their body, their cadence, their voice cracks. They're I used to write jokes for other comics. I used to write my Brian Regan joke. So it'd be like, my foot's a slumber. It's a slumbering, and my foot's asleep. It's so asleep. It's just stupid stuff. I would just be in my apartment, just doing other people's voices with just dumb jokes that would never work.
Yeah.
And then eventually I even tried being Todd Barry for like a week. I'm too high. I'm too wound up to try to ever have the discipline to do that. But, and so you just, that's, once you start adopting other people's personas, it frees you a little bit more to just really focus in on your own stuff. And I'm always deep down trying to think about what's a joke that I could tell to my parents. That's because you spend so much time as an open micer in these places like Love Goat, Cherrywood, Tramps, Velveeta Room, Volstead, and you're just only Chortle Portal. It's only people to your age.
Yeah.
And then you go out and you do a show, in North Austin or Cap City, and it's on the Sundays, and it's not people your age, and you fall flat because they don't know what you're talking about at all.
Right.
And so it's like, I gotta just be more accessible, more universal. Write a joke that anyone could at least understand.
Yeah.
And then, even if they don't find it funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I think that trying to copy somebody else would be a lot harder than just trying to be yourself. But that may be I've been through I'm older.
Sure.
Shall we say?
No.
Come on. And so I've learned that lesson, that it's a lot harder to copy other people than just to be yourself.
I think so, but maybe so. But for me, it just took a lot of the stress out of being on stage, where it's like, well, I'm hiding behind someone else's proven formula of delivery.
Yeah. That
eventually I'll write a joke that works, and eventually I'll take that joke and find my own way of talking. And that's what I spent so long, was learning how to write a joke that is real to me. It's not offensive. And I think whenever I write a joke, it can always be shorter and it can always be cleaner. Yeah. That's the two things that I'll always say about one of my jokes is I'm always trying to make it cleaner. Mm-hmm. I'm always trying to make it faster. Just get to the point as soon as possible. Yeah. And yeah, eventually the goal is to eventually find your own way of moving your body, right. Your own tempo, your own inflection, your own voice.
I'm really struck by the fact that you say that your first open mic was in summer of 16, mm-hmm. and I think I saw you. I must have seen you summer of 17 at that Velve.
Okay.
And I've seen you, since that time fairly regularly, and I'm really struck by the fact that you said you were working on copying the delivery of other people as a means to finding your own cadence. I've never once made the observation watching you that you were copying anybody else.
Thanks. That's sweet. I mean, I can tell you who I'm copying now. I think deep down I'm just stealing Brody Stevens. That's who I'm stealing. I think I'm stealing Brody Stevens' life or like his act or his positivity.
I could see that.
I'm very positive. I'm high energy.
That is a very alike. I could see that.
Because forever I idolized Bobby Kelly. Robert Kelly is like so intense and he holds court. Mm-hmm. When all the times I've seen him, he is just 100% in control of this chaos that he creates in this packed room. Yeah. And he just gets so worked up, and it's part of his thing. Yeah. And I just remember doing a joke about a cat and how I don't like this person's cat, and I'm describing how much I hate the cat. I'm just going in on the cat. Yeah. This cat's nice, but this other person's cat. And I go, and people are looking at me scared. I go, oh, you guys realize like I'm not really upset with the cat. Like I just have this problem with my tone where it doesn't match how I feel. People will be like, are you okay? Like, I know I'm screaming because I'm enjoying the coffee, like I have an anger thing. So then I was like, well, what if I go from Bobby Kelly to Brody Stevens where instead it's positivity, high energy. Yeah. So, and it's less disarming for people. It's better. I found it works better.
It's more genuine.
It is, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to be happy over here. So, I'm just ripping off Brody Stevens. Yeah. Eventually I'll find my own thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. It's a very interesting process because I don't know that I've talked to anybody that has like been deliberate about, okay, I'm going to because I'm not going to call it copying. I'm going to say you have been studying different comics and saying, okay, what can I learn? Let me take the class of Brody Stevens for now and, work on myself through that lecture and then cycle through other comics.
I've tried on every hat I can possibly think of. I've tried being low energy like Morgan Murphy or Todd Barry. It just doesn't work for me. Yeah, no. I've tried being high energy and intense like Bobby Kelly or Greg Giraldo. Yeah. It comes off too angry. Yeah. I've tried being very calm and calculated like Jeselnik. Doesn't work because I'm too much of a, I'm too spasty. Yeah. I tried being smart, like Carlin or Patton. I'm too dumb. So Brody's currently a pretty happy mix. Yeah. It's closer to myself. I feel like out of all the hats I've tried on. And that's what's fun about studying comedies. Mario told me a few months into comedy, you can just come to the clubs and watch for free. Just sit in the back. So in 2017 and 2018, every weekend, I would make it a point to go to both clubs and just watch as many headliners as you can. Yeah. And you just realize that, like, so much comedy, I say this out of respect because there's so much now. There's just more. I feel like there's more than there ever was. Yeah. I think about when I was watching comedy, the only ways you could get it was HBO and Comedy Central. Yeah. And sometimes BET. That was the only way you could watch specials. And now there's so many avenues, so they're creating more content. Right. I heard that Just for Laughs this summer, they ordered over 100. They ordered 100 hours.
Holy cow!
Netflix did. They made an order. They met with 100 comedians during Just for Laughs and ordered 100 hours.
Wow.
And that's so like they're releasing an hour 2 hours a week at that point, every week for the next year. Right. But most comedy is good. You talk to people who are like so jaded, and it's like, no. For them to get to that point to make an hour, most comedy is good.
Yeah.
It's just...
It may not be your taste, but it's good.
But not all of it is amazing great.
Right.
So how do you stick out? And if you go see a headliner every week, you realize that it's so much is good, but you want to just stand out. And so you take that to yourself at the open mic level, which, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm a white guy. Hey, shocker. Castillo, I'm a white guy. So there's a million of me. There is a million, and not just in Austin. There is a million of me everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just like, you see how like a dog freaks out when they see their own reflection. It's like, oh shit, there is literally a million of me trying to do comedy. How do I stick out from the sea of white guys in flannels? What do I do? What do I do to stick out? And so you just adopt every persona till you can find your own and maybe stick out somehow. If you're lucky, you can come up with one great joke.
Yeah.
Because most comedy is good, but not that much is great.
You're way more cynical than I would have.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm being positive.
No, I don't know.
Most comedy is good. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just watch too much comedy, but I enjoy it. I still love going and sitting down on a Friday night at either Cap City or Velveeta Room, and because it's so exciting.
Yeah.
It's these people, they got babysitters, they took Ubers, they got a wag dog walker to walk their dog. Plans were done to go to this place. They could watch it on their phone, their iPad, their laptop, their TV, but they wanted to see it live. These people then bought a ticket and found out they had a 2-item minimum. Like, oh, come on. And so then they go in there. So now they're more buying things, and this is their plan. And it's not free. And so the financial stakes are made. Time is invested. A night out is on the table. A whole work week this weekend is what they get as a reward for working. Their entire work week is at stake for this show. So you just feel that buzz of like excitement, a little fear. Oh my God, this better be great. Also, I can't wait to see this person sometimes. And that's what's so much fun. And then you get to see your friend host, your friend feature, and then we get to see the best in this town. Right. People like coming here. So people from New York and Los Angeles, you get to see them work out their new stuff, tour their new stuff. I think I'm not trying to be cynical here but with the rush to put out content, I feel like most comics, it's just getting the hour out there and then they'll craft it and perfect it. And I'm not seeing the finished product all the time. So I'm admitting that because if I see it live, I usually won't watch the special because I saw it. Sometimes I will, but I mean, how can you say that everything's great? I think that's kind of nuts. Most of it is good. And then some of it's great. And I just want to write one great joke. I think that's pretty reasonable. I think if I can be good for the rest of my life, I'll be good. But just give me one great joke.
I think you can aim higher. Maybe that's why what I'm picking on is not the cynicism about, the comedy industry. It's just
the cynicism.
Really, you think you're only capable of one great joke?
I think no, but it would be great to just have one.
Yeah.
I think if I could get more, that'd be fine. But it's like food. It's like it's like sports. This is such a competitive industry.
Yeah.
And that I deep down think that it's just, you'd have to be crazy to think that this should get to be a job.
Yeah.
And for it to get to be a job, you have to be great.
Yeah.
You really do. Because even if you're good, and again, going back to sorry, I'm just totally tyranning this conversation.
No,
because as a kid, I'm sitting in this room that I get to be in for free because the clubs are nice and they're letting me grow. And so I get to be there for free. These people do not. And if it's bad, they're going to tell their coworkers, this sucked. And it's not just this comic, this club sucked. The whole stand-up comedy sucks. Stand-up in general. And if it goes good, you know what they're going to say? They'll say, "What'd you do this weekend?" "Oh, I went to a comedy club." "Who'd you see?" I don't know, but they were funny."
Yeah.
That's 99% of people. They won't remember you.
Yeah.
So you might as well just be, you should aim for being a good memory without them even remembering who you are, as compared to being a lasting bad memory.
Yeah.
But if you're amazing, you get to be a great comic, and they will remember your name and go see you again.
Yeah.
And that's mathematically how it is. If there's so many comics and so few audience members and so few physical stages and so few seats and so many hours in the day and weekends in the week to work and so many clubs that offer weekend works, it's just that's what it funnels down to that. I think it's just that.
Wow.
So
I had no idea you had this like advocacy element too. It's like,
I mean, that's why I'm trying to always, even if like and that's why I'm always trying to get on stage, because you set different goals for different stages. If you're at Cherrywood and people are studying and not listening to you, and there's 3 real audience members, don't go in there and then beat yourself up. Cause I used to do this. I bombed because no one laughed. It's like, no, what you're not aiming, you shouldn't aim to kill in Cherrywood.
right.
What you should be aiming to is really just prove to yourself that you went for it, that you acted out more, you moved your body more, you just said new material so that you can go back and listen to it and figure out if you get a laugh, write that down. What was the word that got that? How do I get to that faster? And just even getting on stage, that's a win. So you set different goals, and eventually you just want to stick out from the crowd. And if you don't, there's so many other things in life to be. I think that in 10 years, I think I'll give myself a good 10 years at this. And if it truly has no prospects, I'll just go try to be great at something else, because that's what my parents told me to be.
Yeah.
They were like, whatever you do, just be the best. If you're a janitor, be the best fucking janitor you can be. Go in there and scrape the gum off the tables, and put fresh urinal cakes in the urinals, and make sure there's potpourri in the bathrooms, and just get it done. Get the grout clean. You're a janitor. You're the best fucking janitor in the world. If you're an astronaut, go conquer a new planet. Don't even visit it. Take it over, okay? But whatever you do, you're not allowed to half-ass,
That's a good life lesson.
So, I'm just trying. I'm not trying to be the best overnight, and I'm not trying to like step on everybody. I'm not a ladder climber. I'm just trying to have fun and enjoy my life, because I found this thing I love.
Well, one thing that I have noticed is you've started to get booked a lot more, so things must be falling.
Sure, enough people
line
move
for-
out.
Oh,
Enough
Cynic.
people move to Los Angeles and New York, and they go, all right.
he seems nice.
Text him.
Yeah, but I mean, those experiences build you up. I mean, who cares how you got there? The fact that you're getting to do, 8 to 10 minutes in front of a larger audience, that's helping build your skill. So like you said, it's, okay, now you get to work on a different goal.
Right.
When you're in front of this different audience.
I mean, because stage time is it's the only way, stage time and then learning from your stage time. It's the only way you'll ever get better.
Yeah.
It's the most valuable thing in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously having a followership on social media is how you're going to get butts in the chairs if you're a touring comic. But at this stage that I'm at now, it's just sponge. Just go to the clubs, watch every headliner you can possibly watch every feature act, and just try to get on stage as much as you physically can. And try to learn from your time on stage and their time on stage.
Yeah. And if it hasn't come through clearly enough, let me just reiterate, both the Cap and the Velve, if you are a comic in town, so you newer comics who might be listening to this, you can go stand in the back and watch these
Offer your seats to paying customers when they come in. Yeah. So just look alive, stand up, introduce yourself, learn the box office people's names, learn the staff's names, be nice, always go do standby on the open mics if you can't get on, and just try. Yeah. And then, and you at the very minimum, you'll learn something. Yeah. Learn etiquette. You'll learn how lucky you are that you live in a city that gets the best comics to come here. We are insanely lucky. Like you just look at what other cities, you just Google other clubs and you look at their calendars and it's like this asshole magician. Yep. Whereas, we have comics that could sell out theaters. Yeah. Choosing to do comedy clubs that have less seats and less tickets that they could sell because they like and are loyal to those clubs. We're lucky. We're so lucky to have that,
Okay, let's get into some controversy.
All right.
We talked about this before.
I thought that was some controversy.
That was you should do a TED Talk. That was really a compelling, story or...
Just catch me drunk at mugshots. Okay. I'll give you the same talk. And I'll pump you up. Because I'm not cynical. I'll tell you, I want to see you more. I want to see you more out there. I want to see you out there working. I'm not a cynical guy. I'm being realistic. Maybe I'm being doom and gloom. But, and that's the thing. Everybody, like I said, most comedy is good and few are great. There is no rule that prove me wrong. I love to be proven wrong. Yeah. And here, everybody has the potential to be that greatness. I think. I think they can be. So, and that's what I tell myself. Everyone can be great. So first you just try to get good. And then if you're lucky,
Okay.
So.
All right.
I'm not a jaded guy. I'm just realistic.
Okay, we're going to start wrapping up because I think I am.
I'm overtime.
No, not really. No, a couple of things that I want to wrap up with. You've been a guest of other podcasts, and let it be known that soon after one of your appearances on Why Should We Care, we stopped hearing Why Should We Care. You were on Gross Lonely Boys recently, and they've been slowing down, so I'm nervous, very anxious that I'm not going to get another episode of Gross Lonely Boys. And now you're on my podcast.
I'm the touch of death.
And I'm very concerned that this might be the last.
No one's making anybody stop. They made pods after me. They'll keep going. The people are busy. They got lives. They'll be fine. Those podcasts they're doing their own thing. Yeah. They're going to keep going. Yours is going to keep going. Yeah. I'm a cancer, but you can cut it out. You can take a knife and cut cancer out.
Well, sometimes you can.
Wow.
Sometimes, let's not get too dark.
Okay.
All right. What do you hope what's a goal that you have? Because I'm guessing you are goal oriented.
Sure.
What's a goal you have for the next, let's just say, year? We just started the year, so resolution time.
The goals always is to beat or match my record on getting on stage every month. I have a calendar. My friend came over and she saw my calendar and I had written down every time I got on stage on it. She goes, "What are you, Brett Kavanaugh over here with your calendar?" You're protecting yourself in future. I couldn't have. I was here at the Volstead that night. I'm like, okay, well, all right. But
it's so funny because I've recently, I'm also very goal oriented and I have a calendar where everything goes into it. But I've recently adopted a paper calendar where every day I write down my work goals and then my personal goals.
Sure.
And I think, oh my gosh, the whole Kavanaugh thing has infiltrated into me. But on the other hand, I heard it said that if you write down a goal, you achieve it and more.
Ink hits paper. It's powerful. Yeah. And it feels good when you accomplish it. Mm-hmm. So I write down every time I get on stage. Mm-hmm. I include sketch class, which isn't getting on stage, but that is a comedic muscle that I'm going and sitting down for 2 hours and learning to do. Or improv, whether it's rehearsal or class, that's technically not getting on stage, but I count it.
Yeah.
That's stage time to me. And then any showcase, any open mic, I write down a bullet point and I write down what it was, and then I tally it up at the end of the month. It was 42 times in January. Wow. That was a nuts month. So I'm just trying to match that month. I'm not trying to beat it. I'm always just trying to match that number because, I mean, just New Year's this year was funny.
Yeah.
I went to a college. What's that?
You did the 51st joke show too, right?
Yeah. Me and 49 other people. But New Year's Eve, I went to like a New Year's party with some comics at the end of the night. That's where I finished. But before I started the night at a party with some college friends, some friends from college. And I'm just meeting their significant others and them, and we're checking in. They never see me anymore because I'm out doing this. Oh, so you're in law school, or you're a dental school? You know, oh, you got a new truck because you're working in real estate finance. You're doing this. You're a social caseworker. You're a speech pathologist. You're a nurse practitioner. I'm talking to these people, and they're all nodding, and they're not even being rude or disrespectful when my friend tells them I do this on the side. They're like, oh, he has a day job, but he does this on the side. He does stand up at night sometimes, and they're like, that's interesting. And they're not being fake or condescending. They're actually being genuine. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. If my friend is introducing me as that guy, I gotta actually be that guy. And so even if I'm not funny, then I'm at least trying. So that's why I try to match that number. Because you think about the life that you forfeit, or the shame that you bring your parents, or the anxiety just the anxiety that you bring them, or like the fact that your friends are sticking their neck out for you. They don't know that they're doing that, but they're extending this title to you that you haven't earned yet. I'm not a stand-up comic yet. I'm not a paid one yet. So I'm just an open micer. But these people are looking at it and they're going, wow, that's something. It's not yet. Let it become something. Yeah. So you gotta prove them right now. It's not proving people wrong and saying, I showed you. It's, oh shit. Okay, well now this is what this is. So I'm either gonna just be a liar and or I'm gonna actually do it. And there is no other, there's no wiggle room. Are you actually doing everything you can in your power to be the best version of yourself at this, or are you holding back?
Yeah.
So the goals would be to keep hitting that number and keep proving those people right. And then just to be funnier. In May, that's my comedy birthday. Every year I hit another year. So you got to really look at yourself and go, am I funnier than I was a calendar year ago? And if you're not, quit. That's what I told myself. The year I go backwards and I digress, that's the year I quit. Because and you go, I'm funnier. Now what do I got to do? What I got to do next? So still longing. That's the word. But I'm loving it. I'm enjoying things, but you always got to keep going forward.
Yeah.
If you're not going forward, you're sinking.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think I've tortured you long enough. I want to say that this may be the first episode where I've gotten a guest to cry, but it's not, because I brought you to that deep, dark place of exposing, your being, and
it's the allergies. I'm not sad. Hopefully I haven't tortured the audience with just lecturing and berating them with this squawky, grating voice. No. I just remember I was super stoned and I just watched Jiro Dreams of Sushi, and I was just like, that's the intensity it has to be. And the next day I was like, I gotta dial it back.
All right, Sam, we've come to the final question. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
One word to describe your future.
Oh, God. Why did I see this coming? If I hadn't been so egotistical, this is what you have to do. And just wiping my eyes as I scream to these nice people listening to me. This is what you're doing wrong. This is everything this is that. And here's the, by the way, folks. I know nothing. I've been doing this for not even 3 years. So take everything with 10 pounds of salt, okay? The ratio of grain saltage to words, I say, is very heavy. The one word is, so yeah. If you don't ever listen to someone who tells you this is what comedy is. Because they're just trying to make you be more like them. But, the one word would be, for the future, excited. I just want to be excited still. If I'm not excited anymore, because some days it can be too much. You do 10 mics in a week. Take a day off, but because it can become trudging. It can become rote, and that sucks. But if you are out there and you can't bring yourself to go to a mic in 4 weeks, even a month passes by, and you're just like, oh my God, I'm not writing new material. You're in a rut. And I just want to, and I will be, and everyone gets in ruts.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up too much. But if I'm not even excited anymore, that's another reason why I would quit. So I hope I'm still excited.
Me too.
I hope so. I hope we're all excited.
All right. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham Presents. Sam Castillo, tell us where we can find you on social media and anywhere else. Promote shows.
Upcoming shows, I'll be at the Fallout Theater. Let me pull this up.
Okay.
So I can actually get
and we'll pause because I didn't tell you ahead of time.
Okay, well, I'm pulling this up.
This isn't going to go out until after March 8th, so keep that in mind.
Okay. Okay, well, I was just going to say, I only have February dates. I will be doing one of the Glow shows in March. I don't know the day.
Okay.
That's it. So just
that's Joey
Zimmerman's show. It's very fun. Mm-hmm. They pack out this room in a coffee shop in Austin. They lower the lights. They put on neon everywhere. It's the Glow show.
Yeah.
It's good comedy. It's so much fun. So that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that's in March.
Okay.
And I'll be working my tail off during South by. So come say hey.
Okay.
At Lutheran Weightlifter. That would be the Instagram handle. You can look up Sam Castillo. There's and then the bio says Austin, Texas. That's me. Say hi. Right. Stop by. Wave.
We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Sam got to be the comedic genius that you heard today. Just positivity. Yes. Enjoy it.
Positive push.
Yes. Got to be the comedic genius you heard today just as much as I have. Be sure to visit comedywham.com. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at comedywham, and like our Facebook page. You can listen to past interviews on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. And please review us while you're at it. This has been Comedy Wham Presents the very allergic to cats, Sam Castillo. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for having me.